Hi everybody, welcome back. It's Word Class Wednesday, so I would like you to pause the video, write your date and learning objective, and then we'll get going. Okay, well done. So today is Word Class Wednesday, so we're going to be thinking about different types of words. And before we do it though, we're going to get our brains warmed up. We're going to get our brains in word mode. Are you ready? We're going to think about some word roots. So I'm going to give you a word root, and this is the word root that we are going to think about today. And it actually comes from the ancient Roman language of Latin, and it means against, anti. So you've probably heard of antifreeze. I used some antifreeze on my car this morning. I had to drive to the shops. But when I went outside, my windscreen was all frozen up. So I had to spray some antifreeze to fight against the frozen windscreen. It melted all the ice on my windscreen. And you might also, if you've ever been poorly, have taken some antibiotics. And what antibiotics do is they fight against any germs or nasties in your body that are making you perhaps feel a little bit poorly. So what you're going to do is I would like you to pause the video, and you can do this if you're in school. You can pause the video and talk to the people around you. If you're at home, you could perhaps talk to a parent or carer, or think really hard and come up with some ideas on your own. I want you to think of as many words as you possibly can with anti in them. And I've got some pictures around the outside here to help you. And I'd like you to try and do as many as you can in 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Are you ready to pause the video? Off you go. Okay, well done. I hope you came up with loads of good answers. To give you a bit of a hint with some of the pictures that I showed you, this snake here is some snakes, not really in this country, unless you go to like a zoo or something. In this country, we don't have any poisonous snakes. Some snakes in other countries do produce poison. They produce venom when they bite you, and that can be really nasty. It can make you poorly. So what scientists do, and it's really clever, is they produce a special medicine called anti-venom, and that stops you from getting poorly if you get bitten by a poisonous snake. That was a really tricky one, so I would be really impressed if anyone managed to get that. That was great. Antibacterial hand wash, it fights against, that's the anti part, it fights against bacteria. And we know that there are loads of bacteria in the world. Some of them are good. You've got millions of bacteria in your body, and always you're going to have lots of different types of bacteria on your hand, but some bacteria can make you poorly. So that's why it's really important to keep washing your hands. And this hand wash here, you can see in the picture, it says antibacterial. So this hand wash will kill away any nasty bacteria that's on your hands that might make you poorly. Okay, you say, this word is a very tricky word to say. It's antihistamine. And this is a special type of medication that some people need to take, not everybody, but some people need to take antihistamine medication for allergies. So, for example, in the summer, I don't really have any allergies. I don't have any food allergies, but sometimes in the summer, I get hay fever. Have you ever had hay fever? Oh, it's nasty, and it makes your eyes itch, and it makes your nose itch, and it can sometimes make your nose all blocked too. It's really annoying. But if I have a special tablet called an antihistamine, then it can make my eyes stop itching, which is really, really useful. So some people, not everybody, some people need to take an antihistamine to stop them from getting allergies. Okay, and here is a picture of a virus. A virus is like a little nasty that can live in your blood. It can get into your blood. We've all heard of coronavirus, for example, and it can, not always, but it can make you really, really poorly. But what your body does that is so super clever is your body learns how to fight against viruses and bacteria that come into your body. So inside your blood, you have lots of different things in your blood. But one of the things that you will find in your blood is a special way. I kind of like to think of them a bit like soldiers' antibodies. They're a bit like soldiers, because if you get something that invades your body and it comes in and it tries to take over and make you poorly, your body learns how to fight it away and to make sure that you get better again. And so we call that antibodies. Antibodies. They are little things inside your blood that help you to fight against bacteria and viruses and all sorts of nasties that can make you poorly. So that's a really clever thing that your body does. They are called antibodies. Okay, so today is Word Class Wednesday. It's not Word Root Wednesday. I would like that. Maybe we should do that next week. Today we're going to be thinking about word classes. Now, we're going to work through this activity. I'm going to show you the first example, and then you guys are going to try and do the rest on your own. So, move this across for you. I have got lots of different word classes down the side of the screen here. Word classes, different types of words. And I've also got lots of descriptions of what those word classes do. So I'm going to do the first example with you, just to help you out a little bit. And the rest you can do on your own. Now, if you're doing this activity from school and you don't have this sheet printed out, you can just write the answers out in your book. If you do have this sheet available to you, it is from the Twinkl website. So I'll post a link in the description box and you can download it for free from that website. You do need to sign up for an account, but it's well worth it. And this particular one is free. So I'm going to show you what you need to do. And then I'd like you to have a little go at all the others on your own. So I'm going to use lines. I'm going to draw lines to join them up, just because it's quicker to show you. If you don't have this sheet and you don't have a ruler, you can just write them out instead. So let me get my line drawing tool ready. So I am going to do, let me think. I like this one. Preposition. We're good at that, aren't we? Preposition. A preposition is a word that tells you where or when something is in relation to another. So I'm going to write some examples for you. I'm going to show you an example. I'm going to write them just here next to it. I need a capital letter, Mrs. Thompson. Silly Sally. The cat sat on the mat. My preposition in that sentence is this one here, on. We can also use prepositions like in, under, between, next to, behind. They're all our prepositions. So you are going to match up the name of the word class to the job that it does, and then you're going to try and write at least one example. Okay, you can pause the video, and in a moment I will give you the answers. Okay? Are you ready for the answers? Okay. So, an adverb is a word that modifies a verb. It can also modify an adverb or an adjective, but it mostly modifies a verb. So, for example, quietly, bravely, or often. Mrs. Thompson quietly drank her cup of tea. How did she do it? Quietly. A verb is a doing word or an action word, like eat, jump, swim, or sing. A proper noun is the name of a specific object, person, or place. For example, Mrs. Norman or Miss Van Gary. An adjective is a word that describes a noun, like fluffy, yummy, yellow, or tall. A preposition is a word that tells you where or when something is in relation to another. For example, in, on, under, or beside. A pronoun is a word that can replace a noun, a word that stands in for nouns. So we've talked about this before. We can use pronouns to stop sentences from becoming repetitive and boring. So we could say, Mrs. Thompson went to the shop and Mrs. Thompson bought a bar of chocolate and Mrs. Thompson came home and Mrs. Thompson ate the bar of chocolate. That would get a bit over and over repetitive, wouldn't it? So I can use some pronouns instead to help me out. And I could say, Mrs. Thompson went to the shop and she bought a bar of chocolate. So I don't have to say Mrs. Thompson over and over and over again. The next one, we've done pronouns. Nouns are the names of objects, people, and places. For example, cat, fish, chair, or teacher. And conjunctions are words that, I've missed out clause. Goodness me. So a clause is a part of a sentence, not Santa Claus. A clause is a part of a sentence. So for example, here we've got despite the cold. Despite the cold, that's a clause, isn't it? It's actually a subordinate clause because it doesn't make sense on its own. So let me finish that sentence in a different way. Despite the cold, I wore shorts. So I've got a subordinate clause, and I know it's a subordinate clause because it doesn't make sense on its own. And what is the other type of clause called that we've learned about? We've got a subordinate clause over here and a main clause. And we know it's a main clause because it makes sense on its own. And the last one here is a conjunction. And when I say the word conjunction, I usually say conjunction. Conjunction. It's a junction, like when you have two roads that join, it's a joining place, isn't it? A junction. So a conjunction is a word that joins two parts of a sentence. It's a joining word. So and, but, for, so, and despite are all different types of conjunctions. So, well done for all of those that you managed to get. That is the end of today's lesson. I would love to see the work that you have come up with. If you are in my class or if you are in the school that I teach in, please make sure you send your home learning in to the teacher who is at the top of your home learning schedule for today. If you are not in my class, or if you're in another school and you're completing this activity, please make sure you show it to a grown-up because it is really tricky. And if you get stuck, the grown-ups want to help you. So there might be some that you found really tricky, but that's okay as long as you've tried your best. And if your teacher knows that you're really great with nouns, verbs, and adjectives, but maybe sometimes you get a bit confused with prepositions, then they won't be cross with you. That just means that they know that that's something you find tricky. So they can give you a little bit more help, perhaps, with your prepositions. Anyway, I'm going to leave you in peace. Have a wonderful day. Make good choices. Keep working hard and keep making me proud. I'll see you all soon. Bye.